Wait, so are Amouranth and Indiefoxx permanently banned, or are they just kind of like suspended? Are they coming back? Because I saw on Twitter that both of their Twitches got permanently banned. I don't know for what. I mean, we can kind of take a guess that it was probably for something a little provocative, a little risque, if you will. But it's interesting because, like, it makes you wonder what they got banned for. Was there something that they did that was just right on the line, and then it all comes down to what moderator you get to look at it and what mood the moderator's in that day? I don't know. They got banned because the camera was focused on private parts, and that's against Twitch's TOS. Ah, that's such a weird gray area, though. Wouldn't the camera just kind of be focused on her, like, overall? And it wouldn't be anything exposed either. See, that all that terminology, man, it's where it gets really risky for Twitch. I haven't really talked a lot about the pools, hot tubs, and beaches thing for Twitch, but I kind of wanted to share my opinion on it. There was a viral tweet that, well, not viral, but there was a tweet that went around from, I think her name is Sweet Tales, of her kind of giving her thoughts on the whole pools, beaches, and hot tubs, you know, coming from the perspective of a female streamer on Twitch. And I've been kind of wrestling with the idea in my head too, like kind of how I feel about it. And what I've been trying to articulate in my head is I agree with a lot of these female streamers why they would be upset that this content's on Twitch, but like why? You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of incels and dudes out there who just like to trigger female streamers who would just say, oh, you're just jealous, or oh, you don't make content like that, so you're just jealous, you don't do that sort of thing. But that's definitely not it. And I understand the perspective of female streamers who are annoyed that that kind of content is out there now and expected of female streamers. I know Cutie Cinderella made a point about that, where she's annoyed that like people will come into her chat and say, hey, why aren't you in a bikini? And she's like, well, I'm here on Twitch to game. Stop assuming that I'm gonna make that kind of content just because I'm a woman. You know what I mean? So I think like the more I've thought about it, I think why people are really upset about it is it's kind of like a weird thing to say, but it feels weird to be on a platform that doesn't promote necessarily, but allows for that kind of content. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think that being the sole reason of why it makes you uncomfortable is unjustified at all. I think that's a perfectly reasonable thing to make you uncomfortable. You don't want to be associated or building an audience on a platform that allows content like that, right? What I find most interesting to think about is Twitch's decision. It's sort of in reaction to the whole hot tub meta. When the hot tub meta started and girls were basically what they were doing is they were wearing bikinis on stream, but since it was in the context where a bikini would be allowed, right, at a beach or a hot tub, then it technically was sort of a loophole in Twitch's terms of service, right? Otherwise, if they were just sitting in a gaming chair wearing a bikini gaming, that wouldn't be allowed. But since it's in that context, it's allowed. So it's a loophole. They're getting the bag. I don't think there's anything wrong with that since it's per terms of service. Twitch had the opportunity to either put a lid on that and say, we don't want to go down this road, or they can say, you know what? This kind of content's bringing in a lot of revenue. There's big opportunities for us to make a lot of money off of this kind of content, because whether or not you like it, you know, that kind of content sells and it gets a lot of viewers and it makes a lot of money. So from a business standpoint, Twitch was like, you know, morally, we may not want to do this, but there's a lot of people who might come over to Twitch now to watch this kind of content. And so it was interesting to see Twitch's reaction to that, saying, okay, we don't want to say no to this sort of softcore porn meta, right? But we don't want to just blow open the doors and say, you know, start posting really intense stuff. So let's make a category called pools, hot tubs, and beaches and allow people to wear bikinis in a pool, hot tub, or a beach, which is kind of what their terms of service already said. As long as it's in the context of a bikini or of clothing like that, then it's allowed. And so that, I think, honestly, and that's kind of what Sweet Tales talked about in her viral tweet, where it kind of like, that's kind of where Twitch sort of showed their true colors in a way, sort of how they feel about it. Twitch basically said, all right, we know this isn't gaming related. We know this isn't even really just chatting, but there's a big market for this. And so we're going to allow it because we know it'll make these girls a lot of money. And in turn, it'll make us a lot of money. But what Sweet Tales also mentioned in her tweet is interesting too, because she's absolutely right when she says that it's gonna now open up a lot more doors. Even though, like I said, Twitch isn't necessarily like saying, hey, go wild. Now that that door has been pushed open, it's very easy to assume that the bar will get pushed even further for like what's allowed. You know what I mean? I don't really know if I'm explaining my thoughts super well or if this even makes any sense to you guys. So I get that it's kind of like a polarizing topic, and it's kind of a weird gray area too. So I understand why some people would be upset about it, and I understand why some people would be like okay with it. And to be honest with you, I kind of fall somewhere in between, right? Like on the one hand, I totally respect that these girls are, you know, at least have the opportunity to make that kind of content if they want to, right? If that's something you're comfortable doing, if that's something you want to do and you want to get the bag and the market's there, go for it. I don't have any issue with that. But I also hear the argument too of the people who are on a platform that has historically been prioritizing gaming content and now seems to be slipping a little bit in what their mission has always kind of been. And going even deeper than that, the female streamers who feel this weird pressure or who are annoyed that it's expected of them, or who are maybe just even annoyed that Twitch is even allowing, you know, sort of sexualized content on their platform. Because that's something that, you know, girl streamers and girl content creators have always had to deal with. And so not that there's anything wrong necessarily with making that kind of content if you want to, but I get why the girl streamers who don't want to make it would be disappointed that it's allowed. Twitch has already shown that they don't necessarily encourage, right? But they're okay with this kind of content being on their platform. They're like, all right, we don't want to say no to this kind of content, so we'll make a category called pools, hot tubs, and beaches and just kind of let you guys run wild. I don't know, man. It just seems really weird. It seems like they're just treading too heavily on the line of like, at what point do you turn into like, just like a cam girl site? You know what I mean? Because it's weird to mix a website with two different genres of content like that, especially two different types of content that are so different and that people feel so differently about too. There may be some people who enjoy watching Twitch but are so turned off by the idea of Twitch allowing stuff like this that they don't even want to be on the platform anymore, right? And I feel like this is just sort of the beginning of that, you know what I mean? XQC got banned for GTA strippers while others get away with softcore porn. I do agree that that's definitely an issue. Twitch should not have that much trouble differentiating from like a video game and actual real life content. You know what I mean? So I definitely agree Twitch has a problem with not being fair in terms of their TOS. Their TOS has always been kind of sketchy. I don't know, man. What I worry though is somebody just from the outside looking in. And again, I'm not super smart with all this like businessy stuff, but I enjoy thinking about it. And I enjoy thinking about the concept of this slippery slope that Twitch is going down. I think that like this is sort of the first step in them saying, sort of hem and hawing on whether or not they're going to allow this sort of softcore kind of content allowed on their platform. Because it's been there for a while, but it's never had an official platform. And so Twitch having an official category for it now is a big leap. That's a big move in one direction, right? That's them saying, no, we're not going to put a hard stop to this, because they had the opportunity to when the hot tub meta came out. They didn't put a hard stop to it, and instead now they're allowing it. And I feel like it's only going to get more intense from there. And then it becomes weird. You have a site where there's people gaming and making like family-friendly kind of content, but then on the exact same website, you can go to the homepage and see Warzone content right next to softcore content. That just seems weird. And I'm not one of those people that advocates and thinks that Twitch should just always be a gaming platform. I think it was really smart for Twitch to add just chatting. I think that's very, very smart. It broadens it to people outside of gaming. I don't like it when people make the argument that Twitch is just a gaming platform. We shouldn't allow anything else on it. I think that's the natural, for the platform to grow and continue to get bigger, there needs to be content other than gaming on it. It can't just be gaming. I get that that's the roots, but it needs to be more than that. But I do think that there needs to be a line drawn some point around that hot tub meta. It just doesn't, like, I don't know. I know I'm doing a lot of assuming and just, you know, stating what I think Twitch is thinking when they look at this situation. I really do think they're looking at it from a business perspective, thinking like this softcore content makes a lot of money and like sex sells, right? So let's just allow the content because we know it'll make us money and it'll be a big business move for Twitch. But it's weird then to have that content on a platform with people who are doing mukbangs. I get where it's a gray area and I get why it's a difficult decision for Twitch, but I personally think that they should have put a hard stop to it. But again, I have no issue with people who want to make that kind of content. I just don't think that Twitch should be the platform for that. I think where they've stated and historically where they've shown that they want to go, I just don't think that the pools, hot tub, and beaches category fits with the platform. YouTube doesn't have a category for that. It's not like you can choose like how to, lifestyle, entertainment, comedy, news, gaming, and then like porn. That doesn't exist, right? Like when you upload a YouTube video, there's no category for that. There's no pools, hot tubs, and beaches meta, right? YouTube has made it clear that they're not promoting that kind of content. I think Twitch did do good by making it more than gaming, but with the whole hot tub thing, there definitely needs to be a line drawn for stuff like that. That's just my opinion. Oh yeah, I agree. It feels weird to have softcore content on a website where you're gaming. That just feels weird. And I think that's really what I've been trying to articulate in my head, is it's like, I get why these people are upset. I feel weird about it too. It's just sort of explaining why it feels weird. And I think it's because that sort of content just doesn't fit what Twitch currently is. So anyways, that's all I've got to say about it. That's my final thoughts. I think I hit everything I wanted to hit. I don't think I said anything too out of line, although I do enjoy providing you guys with sort of controversial opinions and telling you guys what I think about stuff. So if you guys end up watching this as a video on my highlights channel, let me know what you think in the comments. I get why it's a polarizing issue. I just personally don't think it fits on the platform, but I'll definitely be interested to hear what you guys think.